Jameson Parker, tonight at 10:30 on TV 10.
NewsCenter 10 at 6. With Ron Hoon and Diane Ryan. Jim Schneebelt with weather. J.D. Hayworth with sports. And the team from NewsCenter 10.
Good evening. The controversy over Arizona Governor Evan Mecham was presented to the nation tonight on the CBS program 60 Minutes.
The 60 Minutes report began where much of Mr. Mecham's troubles began, with the governor's decision to rescind the Martin Luther King holiday. It covered the governor's statements on homosexuals and blacks, his problems with the media, and some of the governor's controversial appointees to state agencies. Mr. Mecham also asked reporter Morley Safer during the report to quit nitpicking and look at the positive things he's done.
Oh, is this an inquisition into Governor Mecham on what I say and do? Let's talk about what I do. Let's get on the part of it.
However, in Safer's words, what threatens to bring Mecham down is a series of statements, gaffes, and blunders.
Thousands of Arizonans watched the show with great interest. One of those, of course, is the governor himself, Evan Mecham. Mr.
Mecham watched 60 Minutes from his home, which is where he joins us from now, live with his reaction. Governor, thanks for joining us. Any surprises tonight or about what you expected?
Oh, kind of like I expected, you know. Naturally, Maury names all these gaffes and statements and blunders and then doesn't show them because he talks about pickaninnies, and of course I don't use that word, but he doesn't tell the others, so that's always the innuendo. But one of the good things he did, he gave me an opportunity on national television to put this race issue to rest and point out that we believe in racial equality and equality in all ways in Arizona. So I think we put that one to rest, and I'm delighted for the benefit of Arizona that he did that. So, you know, it's kind of like most anything else. I could have made it a lot better, but on the other hand, why, it wasn't too bad.
Governor, in the story, Ed Buck said there may be great disgust about homosexuals in Arizona, but that there is greater disgust for you. What do you think about that comment?
Well, I never think much about what Ed Buck says. I don't really find him being really qualified to speak for all the good people in Arizona. I really don't.
Now, you said you'd be surprised if Senator Goldwater said you don't take advice, but he did during the show. Do you? Have you?
Well, I think you ought to know that Senator Goldwater's been out of the valley quite a little bit. I've talked to him on occasion, had lunch with him once. Quite frankly, the only time advice was ever spoken, and I've always called him, he hasn't called me. The only time we spoke about advice, I said, Barry, what advice you got for me? And he says, well, keep a low profile with the press. And, of course, he's a guy that ought to know that. So that's really all we've talked about. I really don't know what he's talking about because I've had a lot of advice from Jack Williams and Paul Fannin and people like that who really know what being governor is. And their advice has been very, very valuable to me. And, of course, they're in a group that's a senior group of advisors to me at this time, and I appreciate them very much. So I don't really know what Barry's talking about.
Mr. Mecham, does Mr. Goldwater's support for the recall make the chances of surviving it slim for you?
Oh, no. No, I don't think so, but I don't know that he supports the recall. I haven't heard him say that. He said in a kind of an offhand way that maybe I ought to just bag the whole thing and resign, but I haven't heard him say he supports the recall.
Now, it was reported that during the 60 Minute segment that you sent out the letter urging conservatives to move to Arizona. Is that true?
A fundraising group sent out this letter, and it was designed and written for people out of state. Some of them did go to people in state, but it was a professional letter written to raise funds, and did a fairly good job of it.
Finally, Governor, the statement was made tonight that the only way to avoid a recall election was for you to resign. Are you going to?
No, there's too many good people in Arizona supporting me. We're doing a lot of good things, and I'll tell you one thing that'll be great. When we get this thing behind us, then the news will have to spend their time covering the good things we're doing for the people. Heavens, I could take your whole news time telling about how we've balanced the budget, how we've opened up the Pacific Rim to trade, what we're doing to create jobs, the things that really mean something to Arizona. It'll be so nice to get all of this surface stuff out of the way and really get to what's important to the people of Arizona, and I'm really looking forward to that time.
All right, Governor Mecham, thanks for taking time with us.
We'll have more response to the 60 Minutes report tonight on NewsCenter 10 p.m. Alfonso Duran is with the recall movement members. We'll have his report at 10 o'clock.
Well, the satisfaction with the governor is growing according to the latest poll. In a telephone poll taken by a Phoenix newspaper and television station, 53% of respondents said that Mr. Mecham should resign. 50% said that he should be recalled if he doesn't quit.
Still ahead, a big-name singing group performs for a Valley police officer who was killed in the line of duty.
But up next, the search continues for a missing Phoenix boy. We'll have the latest on NewsCenter 10.
The search continues for a 4-year-old boy who wandered from his Phoenix apartment yesterday. 4-year-old Mitchel Amador was last seen about 3 o'clock yesterday afternoon playing in front of his North Phoenix apartment complex. His parents called police after they discovered him missing. Police have been searching the area but still have no leads.
We have had the Bloodhound from Tempe assist us. We've had our helicopter up. We've had officers here throughout the night. Our divers have checked the lakes and the golf course next to the apartments here, and we have retraced our steps at least 3 times.
Mitchel is 3 feet 3 inches tall and weighs about 35 pounds. He was last seen in a pullover striped shirt and blue shorts.
Well, it was just 4 Sundays ago that we were reporting on the death of a Tempe police officer killed in a shootout that left 2 freeways closed in the valley that day. That man was Lieutenant John Bradshaw. Today, a benefit concert was held in Bradshaw's memory at Tempe's Hayden Square. The band performing Mr. Mister with several members from the valley. The group wanted to do something for the Bradshaw family.
And fortunately, the family was taken care of by all the insurance and also the police department. But something needed to be done for the memory of Lieutenant Bradshaw. And everybody came together. It was a last-minute thing, but as you can hear and see, it's working out beautifully.
We will have more on the story tonight at 10 for you, including an interview with Richard Page, Mr. Mister's lead singer.
At least one person woke up this morning feeling like $1 million. That after winning the grand prize in last night's pick drawing. Lottery officials say one ticket correctly matched all 6 of the numbers drawn to win the $1 million jackpot. No one was lucky enough, however, to nab the second-place prize.
All we could ask for and more, just a beautiful fall weekend here in the valley. Can we expect the same for the week ahead?
And who better to ask that question than our own weather expert, Jim Schneebelt.
And that forecast will be along next. Plus, if you're tired of the air quality here, there's finally something you can do about it. We'll tell you what that is next. Stay with us.
Jim Schneebelt's weathercasting is approved by the American Meteorological Society. You're watching NewsCenter 10 on KTSP TV.
Now, if you have been complaining about the air pollution in our valley, we have a chance to do something about it with the Clean Air campaign.
Jim's going to tell us about that, and hopefully, you know, we're entering into the inversion season, and we had some bad ones last winter.
That's right.
Got a solution for that.
The next couple of months are the months generally in the wintertime when our carbon monoxide levels here in the valley are at the highest. So the Clean Air Force has started a clean air campaign for this winter. It's a voluntary no-drive day. They say don't drive 1 in 5, and depending on the last digit in your license plate number, there are certain days of the week that they ask you keep your car home. Take the bus or walk or bicycle, whatever, and we'll show you what those numbers are for tomorrow in just a second. First, the temperature numbers, though. Today, our high 91, the low 65. Normals for the date 87 and 58. 100, the record for this date from 1921, 44 from 1897. Right now, 87, wind northwest at 5, humidity 18%, the dew point 39, rain 5.39 inches so far this year, and the barometer 29.89 and falling. Now, first, the air quality numbers today are creeping up just a little bit, but still both in the moderate range. Carbon monoxide peaked at 96 today in West Phoenix, Glendale at 79. And that was ozone in the moderate range there as well. And you can see now tomorrow's numbers for the voluntary don't drive day. If your license plate ends, the last digit in your license plate ends in a 0 or 1, or if you have a personalized plate, your voluntary no drive day is Monday. 2 or 3 is Tuesday, 4 or 5 Wednesday, so on and so forth. But for tomorrow, the Clean Air Force asks that if your license plate ends in a 0 or 1, or if it's a personalized plate, they ask that you leave your car home tomorrow. High temperatures today, warm in the deserts, cool in the high country, 60s and 70s, clear skies again today, and promising to stay that way right on through the upcoming week. Back east, not a lot going on. Some heavy thunderstorms in Texas, Oklahoma, Arkansas, moving into Louisiana, and that's really about it. This cold front moving down out of the northern plains does have some cool air in behind it, but it's not really causing much in the way of rainfall. Only up in Iowa there are some light showers being reported this evening. Here are the heaviest thunderstorms in Texas, Arizona, rain-free tonight and probably staying that way the next several days. Temperatures today looked like this: 40s and 50s in the northern plains, basically 70s and 80s in the south. The hot spot today, Yuma. The cold spot this morning, Gunnison. For our forecast lows across our state tomorrow morning, 30 degrees at Flagstaff, 40s and 50s in much of the high country. Tomorrow's high temperatures really won't change much like today's, and not too much change over the next 5 days. We might cool off a little bit back down into the upper 80s by midweek. In the meantime, tonight's valley forecast will be clear and mild with calm winds. Tonight's low temperature 66 degrees. Tomorrow sunny and dry, the high near 92, and for Tuesday still sunny, the high of 91 and the low of 65. The Clean Air Force hopes that they'll get a 3% reduction in the traffic volume. That would be 1 million miles a day in Maricopa County. They say altogether all of us travel about 33 million miles a day here by car.
Wow. Well, we had some pretty ugly brown days last winter. It would certainly be a great help. Thanks, Jim.
Okay.
When we come back, J.D. Hayworth with sports.
It is the last day for replacement players, right, J.D.?
Well, technically the last Sunday. Of course, a Monday night game, that's a whole nother can of worms, and a different type of Sunday driving out at Firebird today. That story and more straight ahead in sports on NewsCenter 10 at 6.
Well, another baseball game. The Twins, I'll tell you what, they looked tough last night. I wonder about today.
Well, we're going to find out. It's one of these tough things when you're competing with a World Series, but I'm sure a lot of folks are hunkered down with us right now. Let's begin with baseball. And Game 2 of the 1987 series underway at the Metrodome in Minneapolis. Show you a score right now. Those Twins lead it in the fourth, 1-0, and they lead the series 1-0. Now, last night, Dan Gladden hit the first World Series grand slam in 17 years as Minnesota just mauled the Cards. That 10-1 Twins win sent the general population of the Twin Cities into ecstasy. From the looks of the celebration, you think the Twins had won the entire series, not just the opening game.
I'd like to say we're batteries and the fans send down the electricity to recharge us.
And we'll see if they can make it 2 in a row. Now football and the final Sunday of replacement games. This afternoon at the Meadowlands, it looked like the free agents playing for both the Jets and Dolphins wanted to continue their time in the limelight as long as possible because they played an extra period to decide the issue. We pick it up with Pat Ryan. He crossed the line early, so he's one of the regulars in for the Jets. Hooking up here with Michael Harper for the touchdown, 45 yards in the score, but the Dolphins were up 10-7. However, it would be Miami in the fourth quarter trying to play catch-up. Kyle Mackey keeps it, takes it in, and pulls the Dolphins to within 31-24. Then Mackey again, this time to David Lewis, tying the game at 31 in the fourth quarter, and Mackey's so happy he goes up to the ref and gives him a little smooch. Best job of running today done by a squirrel. Things getting squirrely at the Meadowlands. Yes, the crowd cheers on that squirrel. Nice run there, little fella. Now, back to the football field. Overtime, here's Pat Ryan hooking up with Eddie Hunter for the touchdown, and the Jets take it 37-31. No longer are there any undefeated teams in the NFL. Saints took care of the Bears today, though the Monsters of the Midway strike first. Steve Bradley to Glenn Kozlowski, 18 yards in the score, 17-3 Chicago. But here's John Forcade to Eric Martin, and it's 17-10 Bears. And Florin Kemp, the guy who gives the Saints a win. This field goal does it. The final, 19-17, New Orleans over Chicago. Well, say what you will about the free agent football we've seen. The fact remains that some teams prospered during the walkout, specifically teams like San Diego, as the Chargers won again today. Show you the closing moments of the game up at the L.A. Coliseum. Raiders quarterback Vince Evans picked off here by Elvis Patterson, who says, thank you very much, ladies and gentlemen. Takes it all the way in, a little hot dog in action. Watch him dance across the sidelines. Well, San Diego can't afford to dance. They win it 23-17. And now some action involving the Broncos and the Chiefs. And take a look at this buckaroo. His name is Jitter. That is right, Jitter. That is his first name, and he can jitterbug on through. 85 yards on the punt return, the longest touchdown or punt return for a touchdown against the Broncos in their history. But Denver would come back to win this thing. Little dance by Jitter Fields right there. Nice movement. We'll give him a 10. It's like dance fever. Now, here's the touchdown that won it, though, for the Bronx. They take it 26-17. On to the NFL scoreboard. Steelers beat the Colts 21-7. Newly acquired Doug Flutie passed the Pats to victory today, 21-7 over the Oilers. Cleveland shuts out the Bengals. Mercy, 34-0. In overtime, the Packers beat the Eagles. On down the list, you see Tampa Bay beating up on the Vikes, 20-10. Eric Kramer brings the Falcons back. They beat the Rams 24-20. Fifth straight loss for the defending Super Bowl champs. The Bills by a field goal over the Giants. San Francisco in an offensive extravaganza over the Cards. And Seattle whips up on the Lions 37-14. And now some Sunday driving a bit different from what we usually see in subdivisions around the Valley of the Sun. Check out the drivers gathered this afternoon at the Firebird International Raceway. And on the right side of your screen, we pick it up with Shirley Cha-Cha Mold Downey, but her car runs into a little trouble. See that smoke right there? Well, she lost to Dick LaHaye there. Now, all these cars have exotic names. One of my favorites, the Budweiser King, piloted here by Kenny Bernstein. But the guy I've seen since I was a little buckaroo, and you know that was a long time ago, is Don the Snake Prudhomme. Here he is in the Skull Bandit. How'd you like to have a car like that to get on the freeway in the morning? No problem with acceleration out of the exit. Some of the racing that continues on at Firebird. Different type of racing. Mexico City. Derek Warwick in an accident here. He was able to walk away, but it slowed down the Grand Prix of Mexico. However, another British gentleman by the name of Nigel Mansell. You'll see him cross the finish line in just a second here. Nigel Mansell captures the Grand Prix of Mexico. Where are you, Nigel? Jolly good show. Nigel Mansell, your victor at the Grand Prix of Mexico. No way you can call the Walt Disney classic Mickey Mouse Golf. I'll resist that temptation as well. Larry Nelson won that Disney event today by one stroke over Mark O'Meara and Morris Satowski. In tennis, Martina Navratilova celebrated her 31st birthday with her 40th win over Chris Evert Lloyd in their 75 meetings. She beat Chrissy today 7-5, 6-1 in the finals of the Fiedlerstadt tournament in West Germany. And a big winner today down at Turf Paradise. Richard Rowland, his wife Willie sent him out $6 bet on the trifecta. They collected over $42,000.
Wow.
That's almost like the lottery.
It sure is.
That's worth the drive indeed. Thank you, J.D. Well, working as a team, that's certainly what sports is all about.
The same could be said about this week's Someone Special. We'll explain coming up.
And there's more news tonight on NewsCenter 10 p.m. Alfonso Duran will have more reaction to the 60 Minutes report on the governor, including comments from the recall committee. Linda Williams updates the Catholic Church's attempt in light of the Pope's recent visit to bring fallen away Catholics back to the church. And I'll introduce you to an 11-year-old who has plenty of swing. What he doesn't have is a big brother. Those stories and more come your way tonight on NewsCenter 10 p.m.
Tonight in our Someone Special segment, something different. Instead of meeting one volunteer, we are going to introduce you to a group of them that belong to an organization that has been devoted to volunteer work for the past 53 years, the Junior League of Arizona. Last Tuesday, as Junior League members were putting up booths and transforming the Civic Plaza into a winter wonderland, the thought of a white Christmas was the last thing on their minds. They were dreaming of a successful gift mart. It was their 7th annual gift mart. And if you were looking for a unique stocking stuffer or the best lemon pound cake around, this was the place to find it. The gift mart is also the Junior League's biggest fundraiser.
We return this money to the community through our various projects. This year, the Junior League has allocated over $240,000 to be returned back to the Phoenix community.
This year, the organization that is devoted to volunteerism has chosen 8 projects to work on.
One of our largest projects is the Palace West Orpheum Theater. We're in the process of forming a coalition with government and businesses in an effort to restore the Palace West Theater to its original state.
Others include an adoption program, adult illiteracy, a program that looks after children in the court system, the Ronald McDonald House, and the Rawson House, just to name a few. With all those projects, there is plenty of volunteer work for its 550 active members. When the organization started back in 1935, it had a white gloves image. Over the years, that has changed. Now it's more of a roll-up-your-sleeves attitude.
A lot of programs, we roll up our sleeves and really get in there and work. Adult illiteracy will be a hands-on program where we get in there and help people learn how to read. We definitely are trying, as I said, to get involved in the community. We always try to get the community involved in our projects so that we're in it together.
The Junior League, an organization that deserves special recognition.
Great group, and I'm suddenly ready to go do my Christmas shopping. Well, that's our news for now. Be sure to join us at 10.
We're going to leave you this evening with some breathtaking scenes from the northern part of our state.
Have a good night.
Bye-bye.
The $100,000 Pyramid, weekdays at 4 on TV 10.